From housing to healthcare to wages, it feels like everything in the UK is falling apart at once. Right now, 7.6 million people are stuck on NHS waiting lists, the worst in history. Homes cost 8.3 times the average income, twice as unaffordable as just 2 decades ago. And after 15 years of austerity, real wages are still below 2008 levels. For millions of families, life has become a monthly fight to stay afloat. Most people call this decline bad luck, bad politics, too many global crises hitting at once. But here's the uncomfortable question nobody wants to ask. What if this collapse isn't an accident? What if it's being carefully managed? Because when you zoom out, Britain's chaos starts to look less like a series of mistakes and more like a strategy. When people talk about the UK's decline, 3 pain points always come up: healthcare, housing, and wages. And the numbers paint a bleak picture. The NHS, once celebrated as Britain's crown jewel, is now showing deep cracks. A record 7.6 million people are stuck on waiting lists, double what it was just 10 years ago. For something as urgent as a heart attack, ambulances now average over an hour to arrive, when the official target is 18 minutes. That's not just a delay, that's the difference between life and death. And inside the system, over 100,000 staff vacancies mean patients wait in corridors while doctors burn out. For millions, the NHS doesn't feel like a safety net anymore. It feels like a gamble. Housing tells another story of collapse. Among under 30s, home ownership has plummeted to just 38% compared to 65% in the 1990s. The average rent has shot up to £1,276 a month, a 10% jump in just 1 year. And the deeper problem? Since the 1980s, Britain has lost 4.3 million council homes, sold off or demolished, leaving young families locked out of affordable housing altogether. And then there are wages. Adjusted for inflation, workers are earning less today than in 2007. Economists estimate the average Brit is £11,000 worse off per year compared to where wage growth should be. This isn't abstract economics, it's the young couple forced to rent forever, the cancer patient waiting months for a scan, the worker watching their paycheck shrink as bills climb. The crisis is no longer hidden in reports. It's in daily life. When the UK voted for Brexit, the story sold was simple: take back control. But the truth is more uncomfortable. Brexit wasn't the cause of Britain's decline. It was the spark that revealed how weak the foundations already were. Look at trade. Exports to the EU, our biggest market, fell by 15% after Brexit. That sounds like a Brexit failure, but really it showed how dependent we'd become on one fragile trade pipeline. When that broke, small manufacturers lost contracts, fishermen saw catches rot in trucks, and communities discovered just how little resilience they had. Investment tells the same story. Business investment is now 31% lower than it would have been had pre-2016 trends continued. But here's the twist: the slowdown started before Brexit. Britain was already lagging in productivity, already falling behind global competitors. Brexit just ripped the bandage off. Then there's labor. With 330,000 fewer EU workers, industries from farming to hospitality crumbled. In 2022 alone, farms saw £60 million worth of crops rot in the fields. The easy narrative is Brexit stole the workers. The harder truth is that Britain built entire sectors of its economy on cheap labor and had no plan when it disappeared. Even London, once Europe's undisputed financial hub, lost its crown to Paris in 2022. But Paris didn't steal it. London had been overvalued for years, relying on a reputation that no longer matched reality. Brexit didn't break Britain. It revealed Britain was already broken. Most people think Britain's decline is accidental, the result of bad policies, misfortune, or global shocks. But the numbers tell a different story. This isn't random collapse. Decline is being managed, rationed, and orchestrated. Healthcare. Since 2010, NHS spending per person has grown by just 1.5% annually, far below the 4% post-war average. Demand, however, has exploded. The UK now has 7.4 million people on NHS waiting lists, the highest in history. Meanwhile, private health insurance boomed. Sign-ups jumped 44% in 2023, with Bupa and AXA posting record profits. Public neglect fuels private profit. Housing. The housing shortage is no accident. Only 233,000 new homes were built in 2024, below the government target of 300,000 and far short of the 400,000 plus built annually in the 1960s. Yet landlords extracted £85 billion in rental income, up from £27 billion in 2000. Home ownership among 25 to 34-year-olds collapsed from 59% in 2003 to 28% in 2023. Mismanagement? Hardly. This is wealth transfer, plain and simple. Wages and work. Productivity growth since 2008 has been just 0.4% annually, the lowest in the G7. Real wages remain £11,000 below where they should be, while union membership halved from 13 million to 6.5 million since 1979. Weak bargaining power locks wages down while profits climb. Infrastructure and utilities. Public services follow the same pattern. Water companies dumped sewage 825 times per day in 2022, yet paid £1.4 billion in dividends. Rail fares surged 40% in a decade, while 1 in 5 trains ran late in 2023. Broken systems become profit centers. The pattern. Announce reforms, delay delivery, deflect blame. Scandals of 1990 become normal in 2023. Expectations are quietly ratcheted down. Managed decline works by lowering what citizens think they deserve in housing, healthcare, wages, and infrastructure. The winners. Who benefits? Private healthcare companies, landlords, infrastructure investors. Political leaders gain cover, presenting decay as complexity. Britain's decline isn't chaos. It's policy in slow motion. Ordinary people see their expectations shrink while a minority thrives off scarcity. The country isn't falling apart by accident. It's being carefully guided into imbalance. Britain's struggles aren't just a local story, they're a warning sign for the world. For younger generations, the picture is bleak. The median wealth of 30-year-olds today is half of what it was in 2008, and 2/3 believe their children will be worse off. The dream of upward mobility, a secure home, a stable career, a growing income, is slipping out of reach. But this isn't just Britain's problem. Across the Atlantic, the United States faces 500,000 people experiencing homelessness, crumbling infrastructure, and declining life expectancy for the first time in generations. In France and Italy, youth unemployment hovers near 20%, leaving millions without a clear path forward. Britain is, in many ways, a test case for post-industrial decline. Its slow erosion of public services, stagnant wages, and soaring housing costs shows how a wealthy nation can appear stable while quietly undermining the security of its citizens. If this model of managed deterioration works here, it could be copied intentionally or by accident in other developed countries. For the global audience, the lesson is stark. Britain is more than a cautionary tale. It's a crystal ball. Watching Britain today reveals what may await younger generations worldwide if economic stagnation, inequality, and underfunded public services continue unchecked. Every delayed train, every unaffordable home, every NHS waiting list isn't just a domestic headache. It's a glimpse of the future for advanced economies that fail to balance growth with security. What happens here matters far beyond the UK's borders, and it's a warning we cannot ignore.